here we go. Jack Munro to serve. Game number 1.
0-0-2. Side out.
Slightly missed drop there
0-0-1.
by Munro to start the game off.
Nice handle from Munro.
Yep, great counter. Dekel wasn't completely set at the kitchen line yet, so he had to lunge for that ball,
0-0-2.
which made it go into the net. Great speed up by Tyson there. Putting it in a really good spot on the hip of Julian Arnold.
1-0-2.
And there's that speed up that we're talking about from Julian Arnold on the backhand side, giving them the opportunity to close out at the net, with Munro finishing it off.
0-1-1.
Yep, another speed up by Arnold. And luckily Munro has those quick hands to be ready for that counter.
1-1-1. Second serve.
It's a tough speed up spot from his back left foot. Clipped the tape, sailed a little bit long.
It's deceptive, though. There was no one there as it was sailing long, but
He didn't need to go for as extreme of a shot. It's so funny because Julian will instigate, right? He'll speed up that ball. Munro's ready for the counter.
oh yeah.
But then it came back to Julian. That's the second or third time now he's missed the counter to the counter.
Point.
But we are seeing that pattern that we were mentioning earlier. Julian with the instigation of the speed up.
He just needs to be ready for the combo on the other side.
Right, because Munro's ready. And then it comes back again, and he's not quite ready. So let's see if he can
1-1-2.
right the ship here.
Oh, do you think that ball was going out?
It was definitely going out, but it was just a really awkward spot, and Munro's airborne, so it jammed him up, and he had no choice but to hit that ball.
That's a tricky thing about switching on an aggressive serve, is getting into the right position.
With enough time.
With enough time.
Oh, there it is. He's ready for the combo. And Tyson actually made a good move on his slide to the right for the backhand counter, but Julian was right there waiting with a counter of his own.
1-2-1.
Oh, so Dekel knew that was coming. He was sitting, waiting on that scorpion in the middle, but then Munro was waiting for what Dekel was waiting for. Counter to the counter of the counter.
2-2-1.
Way to find patience to find that spot on Julian Arnold.
Yes, and it's so funny. You keep track of the count of these rallies, and it's like within 15 balls, someone's going to speed up. Whether it's the side of Munro and Arnold or McGuffin and Barr, but one of the players is going to speed that up. See, there's the speed up, and that was on ball 15.
I wonder if the players are counting how many shots. Like, okay, that's 15.
2, 2,
Or it's
1.
just like, it feels like the timing, right? It has to be there. This is the time.
No.
Oh, it's the first time Munro's missed the counter. He was a little bit out of position there because he was leaning left and that ball went to his right side.
3, 2, 1. No.
Oh, it was a little bit too far wide for him to really do much with. Dekel couldn't quite get enough snap to get that ball back down into the court.
3, 2, 2. Side out.
A little bit too far back there as Dekel and Tyson playing defense on that play.
2, 3, 1. Point.
It's all tied up here, game one. Close scoring game.
3, 3, 1. Second serve.
It's a tough ball to execute there from behind the baseline with both players at the net.
3, 3, 2. Side out.
Same thing. Both players at the net. You're the one back. That drive has got to be very precise to be able to be a successful play, as Julian misses both into the net.
Second serve. Three, 3, 2.
Oh, what a good shot as he notices Tyson's momentum was bringing him forward to the kitchen line. Right before he split stepped, Munro decided to do the speed up before Tyson could completely gather himself to recover.
I just want to mention how in sync Munro and Arnold are right now. Whenever Arnold misses a
3,
shot,
3, 1.
Jack gets the ball and gives it to Arnold so that Arnold could then redo his shot. I mean, they're so in sync right now. It's so awesome. Great partnership.
Oh, that's a good spot.
Four, 3, 1.
He's down a little bit too long on that drop.
4, 3, 2.
Oh, he was there for the recovery. That's probably the longest point we've seen of this match so far. Way to stay home by Julian on that counter.
Julian Arnold has no other option but to block that ball, and it passes McGuffin and Barr, and now they are ahead by 2 points.
Five, 3, 2.
Yeah, too good by Tyson. Look at all the torque that he's able to generate with that type of a stroke. It's a lot of momentum stemming from his legs.
3, 5, 1.
overdid that a little bit. As he's going for the middle. Did see the opening there, but was struck a little bit too hard.
4-5-1.
And Julian crossed the plane of the net, and that is a fault. So a point there for Bar McGuffin, and that ties things up here in game 1.
5-5-1.
Once again, Dekel Bar not completely set with that second ball. Still trying to take that step to the kitchen line, which is what led to that errant backhand into net. Great job by Julian hitting behind Dekel, who's creeping over to try to take the middle ball with his poach.
Five, 5-1.
Hey! Hey! Hey!
Yeah, great shot. Notice both of them are targeting Dekel's left shoulder, trying to keep him honest and prevent him from just taking over the middle every single time. It's important for players to do that so your opponents aren't just sitting on the poach ball. A few times now that Julian's missed that drive from that location from his forehand. Maybe he might want to go for the drop, which is kind of what he's telling himself right now.
6-5-2.
Wow, Tyson was sitting on that hard forehand counter by Julian and then counters with the forehand of his own.
McGuffin, such a solid player.
Smart play by McGuffin.
5-6-1.
He reached over a little bit too far. He knows it.
The thing about Julian is that he's just a go player. So
Very emotional player.
Yeah, and he just wants to take everything when the opportunity is there. But a little impatience could really be the factor here in this game.
6-6-1.
Yeah, it's a tight game. It's all tied up right now. Oh, Dekel knew it was coming. See how low he got to the ground? He was pretty much sitting on the ground as he was ready with that scorpion. And so that scorpion ball for you folks at home is a very effective one when you know that your opponent's about to speed up towards your body, because it ends up turning your counter into an overhead.
And if you're 6'5".
7-6-1.
Yeah, and if you're 6'5", you're pretty much sitting on the ground hitting that overhead. So they knew it was out, but he just couldn't get out of the way because of the pace of the ball. And Julian knows it.
And here we go with a little 2-point lead and a little run from Bar and McGuffin. No timeout.
8-6-4. I'm sorry. Correction.
The
There we
ref
go.
calling the score 6-4, but in actuality it being
8-6-1.
8-6-1. Great speed up by Jack. Great patience to hold that ball, pulling it when he noticed Dekel was leaning a little bit to his right and placing it to his left shoulder.
8-6-2.
Rare miss by Tyson on that drive.
Six, 8-1.
Really good return there. Nice and deep, making it so it was a tough third for Munro and Arnold off of their back foot. notice balance being a key in that point. Both Dekel and Tyson doing some pirouettes there on their side before missing it into the net after a couple good recovery shots.
Hey. Hey, high.
Wow.
Oh, that was a little bit too overzealous there.
Yeah.
Did a really good recovery on that ball. That first one comes in a little too hot, spraying that ball a little bit long.
Yeah, yeah.
8-7-1.
Oh, Julian was sitting on that. Couldn't quite convert, but he was there. Hopefully he can regroup here. As McGuffin and Barr only a couple points away from the game. Oh, Munro is there. And the reason why they sped up was because Julian was looking for the Ernie there, and you noticed he was out of position a little bit to his left, leaving the rest of the court for Munro to have to cover. But he was there on the speed up for his counter. Ooh, Dekel.
Oh.
Getting a little too aggressive there on that speed up, going inside out from Ball's ankles. Really difficult ball to actually execute successfully.
I like these points. They're a lot more patient.
Well thought out.
Well thought out. Just pulling the trigger just a little too much.
79-1.
Reminds me of me.
Hey. No. Oh, yeah.
It's one of the first ones you've seen Jack pull from that
Yeah.
backhand wing.
Yeah, and it's unexpected, and it's the timing of it, right? Because typically they're being pulled like later within a rally, which means like more than our first PPA coming back and on August 8th through 11th in Kansas City. So a lot of action coming ahead in the summertime, and here we are back in game number 1. All right, they got 1 stop. Can they get 2 off of this timeout?
8-9-2.
Wow. Denied.
Only able to get 1 stop, but now here we are with a tie game. They need 2 to close out game number 1.
9-9-2.
So you've seen Julian try to pull that drive a few times now, maybe 3 or 4 times with the miss,
9-9-1.
chirping to himself. Oh, Tyson's all over that one. And Jack kind of gave away his speed up a little bit with his weight shift when he leaned on his back right foot and took that paddle back a little bit, ever so slightly. Tyson knew it was coming. Oh, Dekel was there all day.
11.
Huge stride step and just maintaining that consistency on the third, coming to the net and taking advantage of their opportunities.
Great analysis, Walter. Here we are with game number 2. Great
counter by Jack, and they need to use that to their advantage because Jack's hands right now today, they've they've been spot on, ready and waiting after that Julian speed up.
0-0-1.
Oh, you knew that was coming from Dekel as he like paused a little bit on that stroke, ready for that flick.
But that's the shot you were saying. You need to go behind Dekel a little bit more because things like that happen. You keep him honest and you keep him guessing with that shot.
That's right. See, Jack's ready for that counter, but Julian isn't ready for the counter to the counter.
Counter to the counter.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. It's just a combo that they both need to be ready for. Jack is there all day. Julian needs to step up to be right there with his partner. Ooh, speaking of stepping up, Julian right there with the forehand winner up the middle. So much action on that ball, created that dip possibility, which helped that ball land in right on the baseline
You
there.
said that's what needed to happen here, so now we are with a little momentum.
That's right. Look at that counter by Munro after the speed up from Julian on the drive.
And then Julian didn't have to counter the counter
No,
because he
didn't,
wasn't at the
it was
net.
and it was wide.
3-0-2.
There we go, good patience. That's not what we need from the shoelaces, a speed up from that location. That's a tough ball to pull. One more reset there, maybe a good placement ball. A little bit more patience, a couple more balls. Wait for that opportunity to actually speed it up from a high percentage location. That would have been a better play there.
Counter to the counter.
Yep, oh, and they're there. Oh, look at where Julian was standing. Look at that.
It's clean.
It's clean. On the sideline, waiting for that pop-up ball is Julian Arnold.
I've never seen an overhead hit like that from the sideline on an Ernie.
With a side stance.
0-3-2. No.
Too much
And
pizzazz
he's still
from Julian
hyped from
Arnold.
that previous shot. Adrenaline pump. Sometimes when you hit a really great shot, your adrenaline's going, your body just wants to hit the next one really hard too.
Same guy.
Yeah. So good by Jack Munro right there with the double counter, sliding to the right for his left-handed forehand.
Mm-hmm.
Right back, right here. Let's go, boys.
3-1-1.
This time it stays
Actually
in.
dropped, and it's because he took a little bit of pace off of that ball, which created that dip at the end.
Yeah, both Dekel and McGuffin thought that ball was going to go long, just like the previous shots.
And I think they're thinking about a timeout soon because they need to stave this run and reroute this momentum. If they... Okay,
And a speed up from Munro.
and look for a timeout soon within the next
Yes.
play or two. They're probably going to call a timeout.
There's the timeout. And it's here on this last run, Julian Arnold on the far side to serve.
5-1-1.
Too good by Jack Munro there with his backhand counter.
And it kind of puts pressure on you when you don't get, you know, a stop off of the timeout. Finally, that's what they need, and they need one more stop for the side out.
6-1-2.
Oh, too good. Sitting there with his backhand, waiting for the counter.
Oh,
Definitely a little bit
frustration.
frustrated with himself there.
7-1-2.
Yep. That drive was just too low for Julian to do much with.
He needed to reset that
Yep.
instead of trying
Couldn't
attacking.
put pace back on that.
All right, so there's the stop that Dekel Bar and Dekel Bar and Tyson McGuffin desperately needed.
Wow, that serve did not come up. It just skid right off that line, and Julian had no space to have any sort of recovery.
2-7-1.
Oh, Tyson missing that third. Could have been a good string of consecutive momentum swing shots. Let's see if he can help himself out here with the serve. It's an interesting one from Munro. We haven't seen that one-handed backhand flick very often from that side.
Back right here. Let's go.
Ahead by 5.
7-2-1.
Oh, what a dig. Oh, Dekel knew it was coming and just couldn't do anything about it.
Julian attacking all different sorts of spots, down the middle, down the line, this time over to Dekel Bar.
Which was actually created by his initial reset to begin with.
8-2-1.
Let's go. Come on, right now.
Second
Let's go.
serve.
A little bit short on that drop.
Right here. Let's go.
Probably could have used a little bit more legs to get under that ball.
8-2-2.
Oh, Dekel pulled off on that at the last second. That right there, folks, is miscommunication. That is at its finest.
And a timeout is called by McGuffin. Julian Arnold, Jack Munro ahead 9-2.
9-2-2.
Oh, just too much offense from Tyson and Dekel as Julian and Jack had a number of ridiculous saves off the foot, off one foot, left-handed, right-handed, but could not do enough to get back to that kitchen line.
2-9-1.
Too good on that backhand speed up by Jack Munro right there. Way to disguise it and way to place it in the perfect location.
Point here. Here we go.
Way to mix it up.
2-9-2.
We know exactly what Tyson was going for there. The setup for the Ernie, but wasn't quite there for the Ernie. Overran it a little bit and had to make an adjustment to that shot.
9-2-1.
Oh,
That was
Dekel.
such a good point
It was a
construction
really
from
good
Tyson
setup.
McGuffin.
Yeah, it was.
He was crushing that corner on the backhand side of Julian Arnold.
Got
which,
exactly what he wanted to.
Yeah. All right,
10-2-1.
game point.
Yeah, great counters by both Dekel and Tyson. That backhand counter by Tyson was pretty ridiculous. It's on his upper left shoulder, and he was able to generate that kind of pace. It's a tough angle to execute.
10-2-2.
Hey, more aggressive play from Dekel and McGuffin.
Yes,
That's
and
working for
a
them.
lot of firepower, and they're hitting down on the ball, if you'll notice. So Julian and Jack have to kind of reset their way back in, but it's tough to counter from hitting up. They're hitting down.
2-10-1.
That's another downwards counter by Dekel Bar right there to end the point. Notice all four people were hitting hard shots, but the team that gets the angle downwards first is at the major advantage.
Yeah, keeping that paddle out in front helps them out tremendously with that instead of having that big backswing.
3-10-2. Point.
A little bit of impatience there from Julian. That should have just been a roll shot rather than a flick.
A couple points so far on this side out.
4-10-2.
That's it. Way to be on the prowl by Tyson, knowing that that ball was coming from an upwards trajectory from Julian Arnold's paddle, looking to poach that ball and getting exactly what he wanted.
5-10-2.
No timeout for Munro and Arnold.
Yeah, they're trying to just weather the storm. Yep, got him jammed up there. Great speed up. He took some pace off that speed up and went for the placement over power.
1 minute.
So here we are with a timeout from Arnold and Munro.
Time in. 6-10-2.
Oh, what a flick by Dekel, and great hands by all four players. Dekel's backhand just proving too much with that flick going downwards at the feet of Julian Arnold.
McGuffin and Barr wanting to take it in 2 games, Walter.
And they're on a 2 still.
7-10-2.
Took some pace off the serve. Wow, what counters by backhands from both McGuffin and Barr as they hit the ball downwards towards the feet of both Jack and Julian, making it really tough for them to do much with.
8-10-2.
Oh, they were there, and Dekel wants that one back.
Game point.
All right, another game point from Munro and Arnold. Can they do it on this side out to take us to game number 3?
Or can Dekel and Tyson get 2 stops here and come back to close the game out in 2 games?
10-8-1.
Oh, too much firepower from Dekel and Tyson, but listen to the conversation that Julian and Jack are having in the middle of the point. Julian letting Jack know whether his drops are going to be a little high or if they're good. And that's kind of what you want to see between 2 partners in sync. Wow.
No, that's not going to do it. Julian Arnold and Jack.
Tough dink miss by Julian to start off the 3rd game. A little bit tight. Probably could have used a little bit more legs.
0-0-1.
Wow, great hands by Dekel. Speed up was in an awkward location, but he was able to somehow generate a lot of pace on that with very little room.
1-0-1.
It's in.
Oh, it's in. What a get by Dekel.
Let's see that
was
one
an amazing
again.
get. And the fact that he was able to pull off the ball to not let it sail long, I think was what made that shot.
He was on the full sprint, Walter.
He was going right hard for that for that poach. He had to come back and flick it and take pace off the ball while doing that. I think that gave him a little bit of an energy boost.
Well, I
We're
think.
going to see a timeout soon.
Yeah, and this
Yep.
is the timeout right here from Arnold and Munro. But, you know, Julian Arnold toweling off, regrouping.
3-0-1.
Notice Tyson's weight was on his back foot when he hit that ball, which is why that ball went short into the net. He needed to be stable
302.
or leaning forward to recover that. Another errant dink by Julian from that right foot for his forehand. We need to clean that one up.
402.
Miss dink into a miss return.
Yep, and that's when you know a player needs to get a little bit of a reset, whether it's tying a
502.
shoelace or taking some breaths, but needs to clean this up quick.
Timeout, change ends.
And because we are in counter to the counter.
That's right.
Time in. 602.
Dekel and Tyson, they're going to take that all day long because they're hitting down into the court. And Jack and Julian are trying to recover from their toes. That's a tough battle to win.
702.
Yeah, and that's what Julian and Jack need to do. Maintain that pressure, be up at the front, and keep Tyson and Dekel back for as long as they can.
All stemmed from that beautiful return from Munro. So here we are with a 7-point deficit.
071.
Wow, too good from Dekel. Once again, getting to a spot, being nice and composed and stable with the backhand flick winner up the middle.
072.
Oh,
Side out.
Here we go.
Please.
just wide as Julian feels frustrated with himself for pulling that.
701.
Oh, thought the wind might do some crazy things with that ball, but didn't help him enough.
801.
Ooh, so that pressure by Munro, even though he didn't actually end up hitting the ball,
Yeah.
caused Dekel to kind of change his stroke and his form and his weight distribution a little bit, making him miss into the net.
Keeping an eye on him.
Oh, just wide. He had an opportunity there, just pulled it a little bit wide.
Point.
It's a tough shot to execute too from that position.
902.
Wow, Dekel was sitting there waiting for that speed up. That wasn't a bad speed up, but Dekel's backhand was just too good.
And a first match point of the bronze
10-0-2.
medal.
They do have a little bit of a lead here, 10-0.
Side out.
All right, we've seen crazy things here on Grandstand Court and a great comeback from Dekel and Tyson in the previous game. We need points here.
We need a
for Munro.
12-point run
Yes.
on Munro's serve right
At
here.
least 10.
Oh,
Point.
And there's one.
look at how Jack held that backhand flick. Dekel thought he was going across his body, cross court, and he pulls it right behind him. Smart move by Jack.
110-1.
That was probably going out too, and Jack throws his hands up in disgust as he could have just gotten out of the way, but he really couldn't because his momentum was already in the air.
110-2.
Oh, Dekel was waiting on that counter.
Right back, right here.
It's a little bit too hard on that swing.
Let's go. Here we go. Here we go.
210-2.
High. Wide. Win, hit it.
Here, Julian trying to plead with the win there to help him do a little bit of magic, bringing back into the court, but not quite enough breeze there for his wishes to come true.
Match point number 2.
10-2-1.
And that does it.
Dekel Bar, Tyson McGuffin win the bronze medal at the Select Medical Orange County Cup.